And lately I've been doing way too much sourcing on Whatnot, so I've got to stop. I got a new passion.
David, do you have a problem?
I have a passion. Well, here we are, two old guys. We're probably about the same exact age, to be honest with you. Now, I am 57. I'll be 58 in May here.
What day?
May 8th.
Okay. The plot thickens.
An ex-boyfriend that was the same birthday, too.
Okay. Wow, it just gets better and better, don't it?
Wow. You learn. Why?
My birthday's May 8th.
We're kindred spirits, man.
Oh, wow. I'm going to bring in my better half real quick.
Oh, hey.
Here's Melanie.
The end of the night.
Hi.
Like that Purple Rain shirt.
I love it. That's awesome. I love it.
Welcome back to the Slim Flippers. We are joined tonight by the Breeze Flippers, the real David Beckham. David, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, Wes. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Glad to have you on the Slim Flippers. Now, we were together on the other one that nobody could spell, the Finders Flippers podcast, which hopefully now everybody can put those things together and spell it correctly.
They can find that. You've almost increased by 10 subscribers, so it's great.
Have you been seeing the saga that's gone on the Trash to Cash podcast? They were actually talking about it. And,
an episode ago. Did they talk about it today? Because I haven't heard it today yet. So.
I didn't hear the part about the Finders Flippers. They actually talked about the Slim Flippers.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because
Dave was on.
Yeah, Dave was on. He kind of dropped in and talked about Mike and his flee across Florida.
Yeah, I wanted to go with them on that. I was gone, so I was in Alabama. But yeah, I would have loved to have seen that because that's hilarious.
That's something I wanted to ask you because I kind of figured that would have played right into your hands of doing the flee across Florida. But you said you were not.
I was I was actually at a play up at my daughter's in Tuscaloosa. Yeah, because one of the plays that she was involved with somewhat. So she's a grad student there at Alabama. So we went up there that weekend, but we had a lot of garage sales up there. So
that was another thing I was going to ask you. On your way, did you kind of make it like, you know what, we can turn this into, a little bit of a profit and just stuff along the way. How did that work out for you? Because I'm looking at doing that when I go on vacation this year. We leave on a Saturday. I'm just going to take my time and kind of meander across, and so we drop into. But how did that go for you? What different types of things were you seeing out there?
Well, I mean, obviously, the garage sales are different up there. I mean, I think they are. The prices were decent. We found quite a few things. I always have it a goal, so if I'm going to go up there, I'm going to try to pay for my trip. I mean, even though it's visiting my daughter, I said, let's pay for the trip, and we find enough stuff. So I think I found a vintage Furby from 2000, I believe, and it was brand new in the box. So I mean, we'll probably get $50-$60 from that. We found a couple other things, so we always try to do our best to pay for the trip anytime we go somewhere like that. So, because I'm headed up to Iowa even this year to visit my family, and I'll be up there a couple of weeks because I'll work from up there. But when I'm up there, I do the same thing. I hit the thrift stores. I hit all the garage sales on the weekends, and I figure if I can find enough stuff, I'll pay for my trip. So I did that the last time when I was there.
Well, you may have to run over to a U-Haul and rent a van.
I had to rent a bigger car to go up there last time. Now I have a bigger car, so I'll actually should be okay coming back, I hope, unless I have to put a carrier on it or something. I don't know.
Instead, you start thinking, how can I get this item back? Can I sell it from here and just ship it from here wherever I'm at? Yeah. I mean, that's a possibility.
No, it is a possibility. I mean, you could do that if you had stuff with you, but I don't know. I'm so picky about how I ship stuff, so I'm always I like to have everything right there. And one of these days, I want to post this because I'm trying little things on Instagram to post little things now because I'm trying to learn social media. But one of the things I got to show is how bad our storage is. Our storage is one end of the garage. And I have bins stacked up, and basically stacked up only so high because my bike is above that. So once we hit that limit, we literally can't. There's this. I don't know where else to put it. We have to put it in spare bedrooms. We're trying not to overtake our living room and our living area, so that we don't want to do that because we're already overtaken the laundry room. That's the shipping room now, so we call it the shipping room. So, but yeah, so now this weekend when we went out, we were like, okay, I'm only picking stuff that has a decent sell-through rate has to have a good ROI, and we were really being particular about it. And even my wife said at one point she was proud of me because I walked away from some little toys because I like toys, but I walked away from several bags of toys because I just knew that they were just going to take up space and I wasn't going to be able to get them done. So that was, it's a hard thing to do, but when you start kind of getting to that point, that's where you have to kind of set it up and say, I just don't have space and can't buy it anymore.
We all have those things that we think are really cool, neat, and I'm guilty of it too. I'll purchase something I'm like, because I just like it.
Yeah.
And if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, I don't really care.
Yeah, I got some of those too.
I just like it, and for nostalgia's sake, when you're growing up and you see something from your past, you tend to go, man, boy, I'd like to have that, just for nostalgia's sake. But I don't know, being very particular, especially like you were talking about on your trip. I mean, your space is kind of limited. How much you want to pack in your car?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's only so much space. Yeah. So, and usually we're taking so much stuff up to my daughter, and we try not to bring as much stuff back. So, so we do have a little bit of space that we bring back, but we brought back a full car. I mean, we between the thrift stores up there, and the garage sales, we filled up quite a bit of stuff. So it was a decent little run, but. And we'll turn around. We actually got it all listed, and then bought more stuff this weekend. So it's still working on it, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Well, so you're used to playing Tetris in your house now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. Matter of fact, the part of the problem is we stack everything in bins, and we have a bin system. We have a pretty good system. My wife is pretty organized, and she took over that part of it, or started helping me with it because I'm not. And so we have a good bin system and numbering system, but we actually had a problem yesterday where the first time I've had something that was broken, I pulled it out and it had a little crack in it. And I was so upset, frustrated. I was like, it's just because it's in the bins. And even though it's in these bins, it's just like, I wish I had shelves. I'm jealous of all the big YouTubers that have all this space or the shed or something.
Right.
We're working out of a little tiny space. So one of these days when I do get my channel started, which I've started kind of doing some stuff, I'm going to show what it's like to be a real reseller because we don't have the space, man. We don't have the big, we're not using I use my garage to actually park my cars because in Florida, it's hot and it just burns up your cars if you don't keep them in the garage. So I keep the end of it. I use the whole end as storage. But it's a lot of stuff. So I am kind of stealing a little bit of the spare bedroom, the one corner of it for like some golf clubs and stuff like that, because I don't want to put those in the garage. But yeah, I mean, it's a challenge when you're a part-time reseller. You want to have stuff. I mean, we have about we have a little over 1,000 items in our store, so it's a lot.
Well,
it's a lot.
My wife and I, we both have a store, and between the two of us, I think she's got a little over 700, and I've got right at 500.
Wow. Okay.
So, it's a task.
Yeah.
But I really got to get rid of some stuff, because I want better quality things.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff I'm looking at I'm looking at stuff that I initially bought when I first started doing this.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And they're my, I guess, little happy mistakes.
we have some of those, yeah.
It's just a learning curve, you just going, boy.
Mm, well,
but everybody does it. Everybody's got that. Everybody.
No, I mean, that's you basically you pay for an education in this. I mean, isn't that kind of what you're doing? I mean, we pay for an education all the time. I buy stuff and I go, okay, that was a bust because it's sitting there for 3 months and, I realize it. And most people, when we think about sell-through rates, we look at sell-through rate and I go, okay, hey, there's 100 items and 50 have sold. That's a 50% sell-through rate. It's pretty decent. But if you're looking at 90 days and the thing is 100 of them and 50 of them is sold over 90 days and there's 100, you're basically going to have to plan on holding that for 6 to 9 months because that 50 over 90 days takes longer to sell. It's not necessarily going to sell quick, So it becomes a little different. It's a math problem when you start looking at it going, okay, But yeah, I've got stuff in there the same thing. Matter of fact, I just started a sale tomorrow at 40% off, and I have listed a ton of stuff in there because the last time we did that, we had a pretty good run for about 2 weeks, and we got rid of about 150, 200 items. So we'll do that again. I'm hoping it's good, but wow. I mean, you have to do that once in a while because you can't. I mean, if you're not selling it, you're hoarding it. It's a collector. You're at that point.
I mean, you're just holding stuff.
Correct.
I mean, yeah, you're physically just a hoarder. I mean, you neatly got it, hopefully neatly packed,
Yeah. Well, don't you find that you have to kind of, you have to take the value of something, that value to you out of it. You know what I mean? So I kind of think when I look at things, I go, well, that's so cool. I love that thing, but I only paid $1 for it. Do I really not need to take an offer for $6 or $7 or $10? You know, so you really start thinking about that stuff. But
I bought a Texas Instruments calculator this weekend, and it was another thing that sold. I listed that too while we were eating. When we were done sourcing Saturday, it sold before we got home.
Yeah. See, I bought 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I bought 4 Texas Instrument calculators from the same garage sale. Matter of fact, I asked the lady. I was like, I was a guy. I go, did you guys just collect calculators? I go, they're all the same calculators. He's like, well, you lose one, you put it in the drawer, and you think you can't find it, then you find it, then you can't find it, and then you buy another one. I'm like, okay, well, I got them for like $2 a piece. So I already sold one for like 40 or $50, and then I've got a couple more. Matter of fact, I bought 2 more this weekend. Texas Instruments TI-84 CD Plus or something with the programmable one. So I had to load new software on them. So sometimes you got to work on those things. You got to at least know what you're doing with them.
Right.
But I reloaded.
If you get the right ones, though, I mean, they're definitely bolo. They're definitely bolo. So be on the lookout for those for sure.
We will definitely make our money back on those. So, but that's some good stuff. Good stuff because sell them quick.
For sure. You started, and I've been watching the last week or two since we talked.
Yeah.
On that podcast, you're selling some what solds?
Yeah, on Instagram.
With your wife.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the goal there? Why are you doing that? Just honestly, to start.
Yeah. You know what? It literally was just to put ourselves in front of something to say, can we do this? Because I think, you have to make a commitment. I mean, it really is a commitment. I was listening to Kevin today on the eBay for Business podcast. If you haven't listened to that yet, he's on there. Yeah. It was really good. He talked about social media and some of the stuff, but it is a commitment, right? I mean, it's hard. So I think, getting us in front of it, I literally 2 weeks ago, I have to tell you, Wes, I didn't even know how to create an Instagram post. I mean, I knew how to post a picture because that does it automatically for me. I do that with my eBay stuff, but I didn't know how to do a video. So I had to ask my daughter and say, would you please show me how to do one? And she's like, okay. So she showed me and I was like, oh, well, that's easy. I think I can handle that because I'm pretty intuitive when it comes to software and stuff.
Right.
But creating it and doing it's totally different than actually being in front of it and doing it. So one of the things we're starting with is we're just trying to do those, and I'm trying to do more. And my goal is I want to do 4, 5, 6 a week and just kind of start there and see what it feels like and just kind of get in front of it, start getting used to it, and then just jump into the YouTube stuff because honestly, there's so many of the YouTube channels out there that are doing this right now. It's kind of hard. You got to set yourself aside, from everybody else, and it's kind of hard. I mean, so it. Everybody knows it's tough, and it's a labor of love. So you're either doing it because you either do it because you want to, because it's your passion, or you do it because you feel like you got to say something, or you do it because you're trying to make money at it. Well, if you're trying to make money at it, it's probably not the greatest thing in the world.
No.
So I just kind of feel like I have things I want to say. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I mean, I'm at a desk most of the day, so my YouTube's on my iPad most of the day, and I'll just listen to stuff while I'm working, and because I can kind of do that. But I hear things, and I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that, and I wish I could have an avenue, something to just
have a voice to say, wait a minute.
wait a minute, listen, because for the average Joe, maybe that doesn't work. But, I know what works for me. I mean, I'm never pushing my ideals on somebody, but I'm
Right.
thinking, I think there's things that I do that someone that's just starting out on eBay would probably pick up on. And they would probably say, that's a pretty good idea. So I know, and there's things, I mean, obviously I pick up stuff every day. I pick up stuff from everybody that's on, and I'm like, oh, I've learned something, because we always got to be learning. But yeah, I just kind of, that to me, I'm not looking at doing this for profit. I'm looking at doing this for fun, and because I just want to have somebody to talk to, even if it's be just a screen,
Right.
So
Well, and you hit it right on point. The reason why I started, because I'm a school teacher and I like to learn, and I think I can always continue to learn. And talking to different people from different walks of life, you kind of formulate your opinion when you may have two or three things that I like and 10 other things that I don't agree with, but those
right.
two or three things are important to me.
Right.
And I can pull them and fold them into my game plan, whatever I'm wanting to do. The saying goes, you've got to be willing to jump in to especially things that make you uncomfortable. If you're ever going to grow.
No, you got to start somewhere, right? So,
and that's I just said, what, this is what I want to do. My wife doesn't particularly want to do it. And now she's been on a few of our podcasts. We've showed things that have what sold, and we haven't done a lot of that. Basically for time, because it's been well documented. I ref a lot and stuff during the winter time.
Right.
But when I have the time to do what I want to do, this is it. This is my free time. This is my relaxation.
Yeah.
And having conversations and meaningful conversations with people along the way, that's important to me.
Oh yeah.
We were talking also off camera about microphones. Kind of talk about what you picked up. You'd showed me what you have there.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as technology goes, I'm probably that guy. I'm always buying stuff and finding things that, I mean, that's just the way I am. So, I mean, for work, I had to have I have a Jabra headset for work, and the reason I do is because I can walk 300 feet away from my phone or my setup. I can walk outside and take the garbage out if I want to, because it'll work that far. It's that good. So I have that specifically for that reason. But because I started doing some of these podcasts and trying to do some of this stuff, I actually picked up and I got to tell you, I don't know the name of it, and I'll have to look it up and find it. I found it. I actually dropped you a link, but they're called Vega T1 wireless gaming earbuds on Amazon. And I literally got them because I wanted to use them on my VR headset that I have, a Meta headset. And I found out that they would work perfect in my computer. So they actually work. You can't, there's no wires. So I mean, it's kind of a little bit nicer, and they sound good. They just plug into your C connector. I mean, they literally just booted right up. I didn't have any problems with them.
Well, I had purchased, I'm going to hold these up, unsponsored, by the way, Cinco. And it's got the little receiver and the transmitters, these little things right here.
Yeah.
But for the life of me, I can't get them.
Oh, really? Oh, wow, yeah.
I can't get them hooked up. I don't know what I'm doing. So
this thing, I literally plugged it in to the C port on my the USB-C port. It just picked them right up, so I didn't have any issues. So it worked right well with my computer.
Well, I'm sure mine is the operator. So
it could be, but it could also be. But yeah, that's been the one thing too. I'm a big techie guy. I love getting tech stuff. So I buy stuff. Like I bought a nice GoPro camera. I have microphones for my iPhone, so I could have something on my lapel. I mean, I've done all this stuff, but I just got to push go, just get out there, start doing it.
Well, if I can get it on my lapel, I've already hit go. So
that's exactly
I just
right.
Can't figure out how to get it running. I mean, it even shows on the computer that it's running or whatever.
Yeah, it's just not working.
I hit record and you can't hear me.
You know what it is. I had to do the same thing when I logged into your actual recording here. I had to change the settings and actually select the headphones. So it was in the settings. So I had
I've
to
went in
do that.
there and I've hit every button.
Really? Wow.
And like I say, I know it's me. So
I wish I was closer. I'd help you.
I would appreciate that. We need to do a podcast on that. I'll
Yeah,
turn the camera around and
we should do that sometime. We'll sit there and do that. Just FaceTime you and go, okay, I can show you how to do that. So,
yeah.
where are you actually, Wes? I didn't ask you that before.
I am near Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, you're in Tennessee. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You've been there your whole life, or is that okay?
I have.
I lived for a while when I was very young in Smyrna and Murfreesboro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was very young. I don't know. I think we moved back before I was in third grade, but yeah, I was there for a long time. It looks completely different than when I was there. Smyrna and everything is like all part of Nashville now.
Oh yeah, it's engulfed it. It's expanded. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been to Tennessee in a while. I'd love going up there sometime, so I'm gonna have to make my way up there to one of these days to one of those big sales or something, or meetups. I said, this is I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys asking me, or Mike asked me to be on the last one, and you guys having me in this one too, because this is getting me kind of in the mindset to do what I want to do. So like I said, I've always wanted to do something. I just feel like I want to have someone to talk to, at least an avenue to speak out about stuff. So I think it's a good opportunity, and I just have to build up that courage and get it done. So now
I think you'd be great at it, honestly.
I appreciate it. I'm sure trying. Now the biggest thing is learn how to edit doggone videos. I mean, I'm telling you, editing video is complicated. I mean, it can be. So I've been using CapCut for Instagram, and that seems to work for me. But I'm almost thinking,
I'd asked Jimmy. We were talking about that CapCut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want mine to show those words, like when you're talking. Yeah. I found this at a yard sale. Yeah. I don't know how to do that. I have no idea.
She showed me how to do it. That's what I had to ask my daughter how to do. You click on your video. You click on your video, and at the bottom, and when you have it, you click on the bottom. It says text, and it'll say auto caption.
I'm doing it right now.
I had to learn the same thing, man. I had to do the same thing. Like, here we are, two old guys. We're probably about the same exact age, to be honest with you. I'm not close, but I'm probably older than you are.
How old are you?
I am 57. I'll be 58 in May here.
What day?
May 8th.
You're kidding, dude.
No. Why?
My birthday's May 8th.
Oh, my God. We're kindred spirits, man.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I'll be 55. 3 years older than me, right?
Oh, yeah. I was born on Mother's Day, and so
I was born on a Thursday right before Mother's Day.
Well, we'll definitely have to get together and have dinner then.
That is some interesting news. We both have the same birthday.
Same birthday. It's crazy. What are the odds?
I know. That means, Dave, we are copacetic.
That's exactly right. We're both Taurus and bullheaded, and
I have an ex-boyfriend with that same birthday too.
Oh no! Oh man!
Okay, the plot thickens.
She had an ex-boyfriend that was the same birthday too.
Okay. Wow, it just gets better and better, don't it?
Wow! What did you learn? How long have you been married, Wes?
We're coming up on 10 years.
10 years.
We're looking forward to coming down and seeing Mike, and hopefully, we can get together, Dave, all three of us.
Yeah, we'll figure out something for sure.
That would be awesome to do. So,
yeah.
Looking forward to doing that. Did you map your trip out? Did you take a look on the internet and go, okay, is there yard sales going on here? Is there like a estate sale? I mean, how did you go back and your plan of attack on that?
I use Facebook Marketplace. It's because it seems like most people don't use anything else anymore, like Craigslist or anything. So I specifically look at Facebook Marketplace, and I look for garage sales near me, and I put the area that I'm in. So at that point it was Tuscaloosa. And then I always sort by most recent. And so that way you don't see somebody, because people don't take stuff off of Facebook Marketplace. Right. So you'll see a garage sale that was 10 months ago. But so I look for the most recent stuff, and then I use, I believe the app's called Circuit. It's a free app until you hit like 14 different. I'll look it up and tell you the exact name, but
Okay.
it's a free app that you can use. It's called Circuit, so it's on the iPhone, and I use that to map out the area, and I can actually put the times and everything in, and it allows me to map out like 10 or 12 garage sales. And the reality is, when you put in 10 garage sales, you're going to find 5 others that are in the areas because people tend to run those in clusters. So that's kind of the way we do it. And then we kind of route it out so that we're going logically, in one area. Because I know we just did that this weekend, and we went all the way up into Pensacola, and then, all the areas around our area. I think we were out garage selling for a good 6 hours. So, yeah, it was a good day. So really good day.
Well, I'm not sure a lot of people would either want to try to source on a trip, like we're going on vacation, we're not going to work. But in the back of your head somewhere, if you're like me, you're like, you know what, we could just, breeze through, get it.
Yeah.
Breeze.
Yeah, breeze.
Breeze.
I like it. I like it. Good play.
Nod. But I'm not sure if a lot of people haven't thought about, hey, we could actually, if we leave some space, we could source a few things.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 times that we've actually been on vacation, we found, the Goodwill bins.
Right.
And I love going to the bins. It's so fun. I mean,
I do too.
You just never know.
I love it.
My wife don't like it either.
No, she doesn't like it. She doesn't want to touch anything, but I love it. I just dig it in there and throwing stuff out. And
that's what we need to do. We need to send them go eat somewhere, and you and I.
They go eat, drink, do whatever, and we'll go to the bins.
Of course, we may be losing money on that venture, though, Dave.
Might be. We'll probably come out on the wrong end of that one.
Hey, we only spent $21. That's all right. We spent $3.
Yeah, because inevitably, if it's my wife's with your wife, she's going to find a place to go shop that's not going to pay us back.
That's right.
So,
lost venture for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But when you go places like that, though, and you go somewhere else, that's kind of the fun of sourcing. I think, honestly, obviously the treasure hunt is the most fun part for us, and we enjoyed it. It was like Saturday, we left at 6:30. We hit the first garage sale by a little after 7. It was a big church sale. We only found 2 things, but it was fun. It's the search, and then you hit these big, we found probably 4 neighborhood sales, at least 4. 2 of them were on a map, and 2 of them we just found because we were on our way to the other one. And we found some great stuff. We picked up a Hammett purse for $40. I think a Hammett purse and something else. I can't remember. 2 purses for $40. One of them will sell for $200. We found, 2 calculators that I picked up for $20 that'll sell for $80 a piece. We found 2 cameras for $20 that'll sell for probably $200. And it's just like little things like that. It's the treasure hunt. We love that part, right. And we had so much fun. But if you're doing that, if you're taking a little trip and you just take a little bit of time out of there, you pay for your whole trip.
Right.
And I think that's always in the back of my mind is like, I want to pay for my trip. If I pay for my gas, I've done a good job,
Yeah.
So that's, I think of it as fun, but I also try to think of the business side of it. It's like, I try to be smart because my goal with our business is I have not put any personal money in it. I don't want to put any personal money. It pays for itself. So all the sourcing that I do, and lately I've been doing way too much sourcing on Whatnot, so I've got to stop. I've got a new passion.
David, do you have a problem?
I have a passion. Wes, I have started doing this. Have you seen this book? I don't know if you can see it.
Comic?
It's the Picker's Guide to Comics.
Okay.
I love picking up comics, and I've been picking up a bunch. And unfortunately, now I have about 700.
Oh, wow.
But I've been picking them up cheap, and I probably I'll quadruple my money back on them. But I've just been having fun with them, and I've been learning. So that's the thing I do. And I say, if you're dedicated to the craft, you learn stuff by picking up. I don't know. I love books, and I love hard books. So I will read a book. So every night before I go to bed, I read one of these books. I found this book. The Picker's Guide to Toys, and then I just showed this one to Mike. I sent him a text and said, "You got to look at this one because he just picked up all those Star Wars toys." Yeah, so it's a pick.
I would actually like to see that one. That one's cool.
It's good, and I order them off of eBay. So if anybody ever looks at books, order them off of eBay because they're very they're affordable. But that's the way I've been learning. I've been trying to niche down a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and because we have an everything store, but Sherry's passion is fashion. That's fashion. Sorry, but her passion, yeah, her passion is fashion. That's the thing. She loves fashion and all that stuff. So she's very good at that. She knows it, and I just lately I've been really loving like vintage toys or older things. Um, I've been more into that. Well, I still pick up bread and butter stuff. We'll pick up the
Right.
electronics and things, but I've just been trying to learn new niches. And again, this picking, you pay for your education. Sometimes I paid a lot for some of this education, but I'll turn around and I'll sell it. It'll come back. And a bunch of those comics that I have, I'm going to end up selling them on Whatnot. A lot of them are going to get listed on eBay because they will sell for 10x what I paid for them. But I bought a lot of crappy ones too. So
Right. Some of the yard sales you go to, I don't want to really want to call them mundane because every one of them is different. But
right,
in a regional type of setting, you kind of see the same stuff. Like for us, it's University of Tennessee stuff.
yep.
For you, it's Alabama stuff.
Florida,
it's all about. So you kind of break out of that, and when you're on a trip somewhere, you may find different things.
Yep.
That you're not used to seeing, and that's the hunt that I'm looking for. That
Nope.
out of the
Totally
way
agree.
thing that nobody even thinks about, sourcing.
Right. No, exactly. And if you're looking at you watch some of the other guys in the videos and the pickers like Dave and Kevin and all those guys, the stuff that they're finding, I don't know where Kevin and all those guys up on the East Coast find all the wrestling stuff. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know I'm not interested in wrestling, but apparently everybody is. I don't find anything wrestling here. There's nothing here. So in this area, this part of Florida, apparently we're too good for wrestling. I don't know. But
Let me go ahead and put a big X on this part. No wrestling in North.
We're not going to talk about wrestling. I don't know anything about wrestling, and I don't see anything wrestling down here. I bought a comic book collection this weekend at a garage sale, and that was a tough negotiation. I wish like crazy I'd had my camera on for that, but I didn't. But I ended up getting about 50 comics and some magazines in there and a game for $40. But I knew that there were a couple comics in there that I knew would do well because I just recognized them. But when I got the whole collection home, there were 4 WWE wrestling magazines in there. And I was like, what am I going to do with these? This is the first wrestling thing I have seen at any time anywhere in Florida where I'm at. So anyway, I'll have those listed. I actually got them drafted. I'll have them listed this week, or I might have already listed them. But they're not going to sell for a lot. But that's the first wrestling thing I have seen. But so it's not that popular around here, of course. So there's little things like that. You just try to figure out what works and what doesn't. But
Right.
that doesn't work down here. So I see that. But the things that people get in other areas is kind of funny because we don't see those things here. So. But you're right. So if you're going to a different location, you have an opportunity to find something completely different that you might not even, think about. So,
well, one of the last things I want to talk about and thinking about selling on Whatnot, or have you ever sold on Whatnot? Because I am. I'm thinking about it. I've been thinking about it for a while. I don't feel like I've got enough information yet to actually hit the start button like you were talking about earlier. What things are you considering selling on Whatnot?
It's a good question. So yes, I think Whatnot is part of my plan at this point. I don't know if I'm going to be doing daily auctions or anything, but I know that I want to sell off a bunch of these comics that I've bought. That I want to sell those off. But we're also going to do clothing. My daughter, my youngest daughter, who lives up in Tuscaloosa, she's clothing designer basically, but costume designer and stuff. But she is an amazing thrifter. She finds the most incredible fashions and vintage stuff. So I'm actually going to help her set up a vintage Whatnot so that she can kind of sell that under Cobweb Couture. And so she'll be doing that. And then we're just going to kind of dive into it and start out with the stuff that the stuff that I think may be sitting in that this is not getting noticed in our back stock, to say, let's just see if we can sell this. Because like I was telling Sherry, I said, if we gave it away, we get nothing for it. If I get $2 for it, I get something for it. I'm not going to, lose a lot on shipping because we'll just get, we'll run an auction, try to sell 70, 80, 100 things, and try to see if we can kind of reduce down that pile so that the stuff that we're selling is the most stuff that we're either knowledgeable about or more passionate about, or stuff that we know is going to sell, and to try to sell the stuff off that we just don't. I have so many little toys. We had to open up another toy bin of stuff because I had 2 toy bins now just stacked full of stuff. I have Transformers. I have all these things in there. They're great. They're just, the sell-through rate's a little slower, but they will sell. But if I put them on Whatnot and still make money, if your buy cost is good, I think you're still good on Whatnot. So I don't know if I'm going to niche down. I don't think I'm going to be a comic book seller, or I'm going to be a clothing seller. I'll probably be an everything seller like most of these guys that I follow are. But that's probably where we're going to start first. And I was even talking to my neighbor, and he wants to sell a bunch of his stuff. So we may just do a garage sale or an estate sale kind of Whatnot, and just bring in stuff and start kind of just loading it off, because you either give it away and you're not getting anything for it. But sometimes that's a great thing to do. Or you make a few bucks for it. And and if you kind of in front of the camera and you're having fun and you're enjoying it, which we do enjoy, trying to sell stuff, and we don't have any problems with that. So I think maybe that's the direction to go. And that's what we want to do, at least.
You were talking about getting screen time, even on that last podcast, and you're doing it on Instagram. I kind of see that as a way to get yourself ready for Whatnot as well.
Absolutely.
Because you're showing things that are what solds, which is probably something I should do too, to get used to saying, hey, or what we picked up this weekend. This is what we found. Either doing what solds or that would be a good way to kind of introduce yourself to what happens on Whatnot, because you're selling yourself, you're selling your items, you're talking, you're showing. So to me, that's basically a win-win.
Right. Yeah.
Continue doing what you're doing on Instagram, and
right.
it leads into Whatnot.
Well, I think, I hear a bunch of different people talking about what's being successful on Whatnot. You have to have a following. I don't know if that's a social media following. It's not like my 160 followers on Instagram, probably not going to all come over to Whatnot. But I'm trying to be more involved in the Whatnot community. So the ones that I do get into, and I'm restraining myself from buying, but I also try to get into the, whenever these big, especially the big guys, I'm saying when I talk about some of these really big sellers and some of the big comic book sellers and some of these people, I try to comment or try to be in that. And when I do, you notice every time I do it, I get a few more followers. So, we might be up to 100 followers or so on Whatnot, and I haven't even had a show yet. So I think that's the key, is you have to be involved. You have to comment. You have to do some stuff. I think the last one, you and I were in one of those shows, I think for Mike's. It was fun. I actually got 5 or 6 followers from that show.
I did too.
I
did too. So I actually bought the first thing he sold.
Oh, did you? Okay.
That green looking glass thing. Yeah,
that was cool. I actually won the tank, and I bought a couple from him. So it was really exciting. But I did get some followers from that. So I think the key to that, to success and Whatnot, in my opinion, is you have to kind of have somewhere to start, but it's going to take repetition. You can't do one and then not do another one for 10 months. You have to do one and then do one and then do one, and then if you provide good stuff and people like what you have, I think they'll just keep coming back, and you'll build.
Well, if you have the good stuff, if you have good quality products, and I also think the groundwork, like you're talking about, kind of build your audience a little bit, but also put out there, hey, I'm going to be doing a Whatnot show here in 3 weeks, or let it build, not just try to jump on there and you have 2 people.
That's the only way to do it. You get on those auctions with these guys and Mike and all them, and you just say, hey, I'm having a Whatnot auction, can I shout it out? And they'll a lot of times they'll do that, because I try to support them too. Like, I will buy stuff. I bought stuff from Mike. I have bought stuff from Kevin, but it's hard to buy stuff from Kevin. There are so many people. This stuff gets bid up so high. Yeah, I was like, I just go into his buy it now and buy something, So buy the $5 pen or something. But no, I have a fanny pack from Kevin I can't wear. Nobody can wear that fanny pack. It's too small. I don't know how. And I'm not that big. I have like a
Put it around your
waist.
arm.
Yeah, it's like I want to put it around one of my arms or something.
Let me get one of my stickers out of here.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh. But I think that's the key, though. I think you have to be involved. I think you have to be part of that community. And this is a great community to be a part of. I mean, all these folks. There's so many people. I mean, I've started following so many different ones. It's my background noise all day long because the way I work, I have to have something in the background because otherwise, I'm either listening to the loudest Kevin's rock or I'm listening to a podcast.
Did you ever have the Finder Slippers, the one you were on, in the background?
I have now gone back and started watching all of them. So now I didn't know about it before because you didn't spell it right, but once I found it, I actually have gone back and listened to some of the other ones, and I followed, I caught the one with Jimmy, and I have to tell you, Wes, and one thing I'm impressed with is how you've done great at getting people. Like you had Kathy Terrell, or
yeah.
right.
Love to be selling.
Yeah, I mean, she's great. She has, although I love her to death, and sometimes she reminds me of when I was young in Romper Room. I don't know why, but when she starts talking on her podcast, she just reminds me of that. But she's been great about stuff. And I mean, you've had Jimmy, you had Dave stop in. I mean, you've had some great people. I've looked back at some of your other stuff. You had SSK promo. I mean, I don't know how you've done it. That's been fantastic, man. I mean, seriously, all the people that I listen to, I'm like, how does Wes get all these guys? So I think you've built this great support in this community. You're just about like this close to just blowing up. I think you will. I think you keep doing it. I think you're gonna. So
I appreciate that. I mean, I had a lot of great people. King Gaetano, the Hustle Bee. What happened there? Just a quick story on him. Kevin he was giving away giveaways to the List Perfectly thing, where you could attend virtually, and he was giving 5 of them out. Well, he gave the 5th one out, but it was never claimed. So he said, "I'm going to open this back up again." And he said, "The person that sends a joke in, my son, the first one he reads, I'm going to give it to him." Well, he read my joke. I sent him a baseball joke, and he said, "All right, Slim Flippers, you get it." So I ended up getting in there and visiting virtually, and I saw Ken in one of the rooms, and he had his thing up, said, "Shoot me an email anytime." I shot him an email within 10 minutes. The guy sent me a thing back, said, "Hey, I'd love to come on the Slim Flippers."
Oh, that's awesome.
One thing leads to another, to another, to another, to another. And I'm not afraid to ask. You can only say, they can only say no. And I've honestly been turned down by one person.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. And if you keep doing that, I mean, that's what I love about, I actually really enjoy your show. And the reason I do is because I love this little interview thing. I mean, it's just, to me, it's like you're getting a lot of different people and you're getting a lot of different viewpoints. And I've gone back and watched yours now from this one, and I've watched the other ones, and this is good stuff. So I've enjoyed it.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate you coming on the night.
Well, I appreciate it.
Hopefully we can do it again.
I hope so. Yeah, anytime you want to, let me know. And if I can ever fill in on the other show, let me know. I'm always happy to be a comedic side relief, or fill in for Mike, or I can't be as salty as Mike, but he cracks me up, man.
Mike's one of a kind for sure.
He is absolutely. I love that guy. He is hysterical. I'm so happy I met him. So
I know that guy.
I know him. I know you, and I could not think of his name. So I'm never going to live that down, but now I know him. So
that's great. Well, that is all the time that we have tonight on the Slim Flippers podcast. Again, David, I want to thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a great evening.
Thank you, Wes. I appreciate it.